Hello, hello, welcome back to Let's Talk H.P. Lovecraft. If you've not done so already, please subscribe to our channel. Alright guys, getting into your Friday edition of Let's Talk H.P. Lovecraft with another short story review. This time it is The Silver Key. The Silver Key is a fantasy short story by H.P. Lovecraft, written in 1926, and it's considered part of the Dreamlands series. It was first published in January 1929 issue of Weird Tales. It's a continuation of the dream quest of unknown Kadath, and it was followed by a sequel, Through the Gates of the Silver Key, co-written with E. Hoffman Price. The story and its sequel both featured Lovecraft's recurring character of Randolph Carter as the protagonist. Alright guys, so Randolph Carter, at age 30, he's lost his ability to dream deeply, and when he tries to access those memorable dreams of far-off places that he's always imagined, more and more reality and the mundane are entering into his mind. But he yearns to get back to where he used to go in sleep. Society itself seems bland, seems mundane, bland science, bland religion, even bland, even the occult, which he dabbles in, is bland. He cannot find the quality of the living that he found in his mind. Even in writing, he tries to write these places to revisit them on the page, and he can never quite recapture that quality, and is constantly being invaded by the impersonal nature of the universe. And in our world, the more we try to impose meaning over reality, the less meaningless it becomes, because everything we do contradicts the fact that nature is going to continue. By his 50s, he becomes suicidal. He has a drug made, but he puts off using it. But he figures that, death will get him back to where he wants to go. But gradually, he begins dreaming again. One night in a dream, his grandfather comes to him and reminds him of a family artifact, which is a small little metal box locked with a silver key inside. His grandfather in the dream tells him where to find it, where it's been stashed away, and he feels compelled to take that box and that key back to his ancestral home in New England, near Arkham and Kingsport, where he once played as a youth. So he hops in his car, he takes the key, he journeys to within, let's say, the foot of the hill, the place where the property began, and he leaves his car behind, feeling that, maybe this place is not the type of place where, it seems wrong to take a motorized vehicle into this part of his, let's say, his dreams. It would, in some way, violate the fantasy, I guess. But as he's walking up the hill, he hears the voice of the old housekeeper who used to maintain the house, one of the servants, calling for him. This guy should be dead. He was old even when he was a kid 30, 40 years ago. But in his walk up the hill, he's slipped back in time. His aunt, who he used to come and visit and stay there on summers and explore the grounds, is still alive. The old man who was the servant is still alive. And he, as day fades to night, he goes out and explores where he used to explore as a child. He feels compelled to enter this cave and use the key and never be seen again in reality. The adult, real-world Randolph Carter is missing, but the narrator speaks of him and mentions that he's going back to Ulthar soon, to an unnamed city where there is a new king on the throne, and he hopes to see Randolph Carter there. Did Randolph Carter re-enter the dream world, and is it real or is it fake? Yeah, it's really playing with reality here, guys. The Silver Key alludes to other Lovecraft stories that feature Randolph Carter, allowing the reader to place these stories in chronological order. First, The Dream Quest of Unknown Kadath, which I have not read yet. Then The Statement of Randolph Carter, which I have read, followed by The Unnameable, which I have also read. The Silver Key, and Through the Gates of the Silver Key. And they're all set in that sequence. I'm reading them out of this book, but they're apparently not in that order. I think they're in order of publication, maybe. But it'd be cool to go back sometime and read them in order. An H.P. Lovecraft encyclopedia compares the Silver Key to Lovecraft's early story, The Tomb, whose narrator, Jervis Dudley, also discovers in his attic a physical key that allows him to unlock the secrets of the past. All right, so about this story. Weird Tales, who published much of Lovecraft's work in his lifetime, originally rejected this story, and then they eventually did publish it, but the publisher basically said, yeah, our readers don't like this shit. Yeah, this is like bad writing. I disagree. I think it's a great look into sort of the perils of growing up and losing your the part of you that is open to things beyond the visible, I would say. We all become nostalgic with age, so I think there's definitely that element. This idea that he's longing for his youth that he sort of grew out of in his 30s. This is probably why fantasy as a genre, fantasy, science fiction, horror, are so appealing to many of us, because it allows us to sort of to access that that imaginative realm that we once visited before our minds were weighed down by the cynicism and the drudgery of everyday life. But it's not just escapism. I think there's always been greater truths residing in the fantastic, and I think specifically in our dreams, where we sort of decompress and reorganize. I always sort of compare it to like defragmenting a hard drive. I think that's what dreams do to us. It defragments, breaks our dreams into pieces, into segments that, if they're not memories, but they are symbolic of memories, and then that symbolism triggers the truth of what we were trying to remember in the first place. But yeah, I understand why the story was sort of not looked upon very highly by readers in the 1920s when it was first published. It's more character study than actual short story, I would say. It's sort of an artistic piece, whereas the magazines that these stories appeared in were basically pulps, sort of intended to be very poppy for the most part. I'm not necessarily all that concerned with high artistic expression, although we're now finding, as the genres have grown up, as we've grown up as a society reading, that there is a lot more meaning to be found from what was once considered pop than we once gave it credit for. But either way, I think pulp audiences were not ready for this story at that time, but here in 2019, for me, I think it's a very meaningful piece, I'd say an essential piece of H.P. Lovecraft, considering its link in the chain of Randolph Carter's stories. And as I said up front, I'm looking forward to going back and rereading or maybe re-listening to, like in audiobook form, the entire Randolph Carter series in chronological order. But even so, I think it was neat to read them, what I've read so far, out of order, because I'm getting glimpses, and this is sort of like sort of an overview of his origin story. And then in the next story, The Dream Quest of Unknown Kadath, apparently I'll get to, I would say, probably see the dream side of Randolph Carter's life in its prime, which would be pretty cool to experience, and will have added meaning because I sort of know about the struggles that he dealt with in the Silver Key as far as emotionally and yearning to get back to this place. Interestingly enough, his name is Randolph Carter. The idea of like going to sleep here and having a life somewhere else reminds me very much of John Carter of Mars in a way, at least the movie version. So I wonder if there was any connection there. I would say that it's very likely that that Lovecraft would have read Burroughs, but I can't confirm that, but I can't deny it. All right, guys, The Silver Key, not a bad little tale. First couple pages might seem a little bit odd to you if you're looking for like pure plot, But I guarantee you, if you stick with it, it'll surprise you, it'll enlighten you, maybe move you a little bit. And I know when I lay down to sleep tonight, I'm gonna be trying to get to the Dreamlands. All right, guys, thanks for tuning in. Until next time, keep it creepy.